Welcome. Take a deep breath and let yourself settle in. Tonight, we're going to explore the gentle world of geese together. There's no need to remember everything. Just let the words wash over you like a calm stream. If these gentle journeys bring you peace, consider leaving a kind word, sharing this moment with another, or joining our growing flock of quiet dreamers. Comment your favorite animal and I might include it in the next video. Let's begin with something beautiful. When geese migrate across vast distances, they don't fly alone, and they don't fly without purpose. They arrange themselves in a V-shaped formation, that distinctive pattern you might have seen stretched across an autumn sky. This isn't just for beauty. Though it is beautiful, it's about survival and cooperation. The bird at the front, at the point of the V, works the hardest, breaking through the air resistance. But geese are wise. When that lead bird grows tired, it rotates out, falling back into the formation where the flying is easier, where the wind is softer, and another takes its place. They share the burden, taking turns, the way we all need support sometimes. And you're doing so well already. Simply being here, allowing yourself this time to rest. Your body knows how to relax, and you're giving it permission. That's wonderful. These remarkable birds also teach us about commitment, about lasting bonds. Geese are monogamous, often pairing for life with a single mate. Imagine that through seasons of migration, through countless sunrises, they remain together. When it comes time to nest, the roles are clear and gentle. The male stands guard, watching over their territory with quiet vigilance, while the female settles onto the eggs, warming them with her body, incubating the future. There's a patience to it, a devotion that spans weeks. Notice how your breathing has already begun to slow, how your shoulders might be a little softer than when we started. You don't have to try. Your wise body is already knowing what to do. Let that happen. You're safe here. The lifespan of a goose varies with its circumstances. In the wild, where challenges are many and predators are real, geese might live 10 to 15 years. Perhaps 20 if fortune smiles upon them. But in captivity, protected and cared for, they can reach 25, even 30 years. 3 decades of seasons, of migrations remembered and repeated, of bonds maintained. That's longer than many of us realize. Longer than some pets we cherish. These aren't brief lives, but full ones. There's something poetic about the language we use for geese when they gather, on the ground or floating on a pond. When they're at rest, we call them a gaggle. You can almost hear it, the sound of the word matching the soft honking and murmuring of geese on water. But when they take to the sky, when they form those remarkable patterns against the clouds, they become something else. Then they're called a skein, like a loosening thread, or a wedge, like that V formation cutting through the air. Different words for different ways of being. Your eyelids might be feeling heavy now, and that's exactly right. There's nowhere else to be, nothing else to do, just this moment, just these gentle facts, just your body settling deeper. Let's think about what geese eat, about how they move through their world seeking nourishment. Primarily, they're drawn to grass, to seeds scattered across fields, to berries hanging ripe on bushes, to nuts fallen beneath trees, to the green growing things. They're herbivores, gentle grazers, but their beaks, if you look closely, have something special. Along the edges, there are tooth-like ridges, not true teeth, but serrations that help them grip and tear vegetation. They're perfectly designed, nothing wasted, everything serving its purpose. You too are perfectly designed to rest, to let go, to drift, and you're doing this beautifully, allowing each moment to be exactly as it is. No effort, no strain. Now consider the Canada goose, perhaps the species most familiar to many of us. That distinctive black neck and white chin strap. There was a time when their numbers dwindled, when conservation became necessary. But efforts were made, habitats were protected, and these birds responded. Today, there are over 5 million Canada geese in North America alone. Their population has rebounded, thrived even. It's a success story written in wings and honking calls, a reminder that recovery is possible. When goslings emerge from their eggs, still damp and downy, they enter the world remarkably capable. Within just one day, 24 hours of existence, they can already swim. Imagine that, from egg to swimmer in less than a day. And there's more. Families of geese sometimes combine their young into what's called a gang brood. Multiple families together, the goslings forming protective groups, safety in numbers, parents cooperating. It's a community approach to survival, to raising the next generation. Feel how quiet your mind is becoming, how the thoughts are spacing out like geese across a wide sky. You might drift off at any moment, and that would be perfect, or you might stay with these words a while longer. That's perfect too. Here's something you probably never knew. Geese have 3 eyelids. Yes, 3. There's the upper lid and the lower lid that you'd expect. But then there's another, a nictitating membrane, they call it. This third eyelid is translucent. It can slide across the eye from the side, protecting it while still allowing the goose to see. When they're swimming, diving underwater, or flying through wind and weather, this membrane keeps their eyes safe. It's like built-in goggles, an elegant solution. Your body is solving the elegant problem of sleep right now, releasing tension, letting muscles soften, allowing yourself to sink into whatever surface holds you. Trust this process. You're doing everything right. The physical presence of a goose is more impressive than you might think. Their wingspan, from tip to tip when the wings are fully extended, ranges from about 4 feet to over 6 feet across. 4.2 to 6.1 feet to be more precise. That's wider than most humans are tall. And these powerful wings enable journeys that seem almost impossible. Canada geese have been known to cover 1,500 miles in a single day during migration. 1,500 miles, from dawn to dusk and beyond, riding the winds, following ancient routes written somehow in their very being. Finally, let's consider the marvel of feathers. A single goose carries between 20,000 and 25,000 individual feathers on its body. Can you imagine? 20,000. Most of them are down. That soft insulation that traps warmth, that makes them buoyant on water, that enables survival in cold climates. And every year, they molt, they shed these feathers and grow them anew. The whole magnificent covering, replaced, renewed. And you too are renewed by rest, by sleep, by this gentle journey we're taking together. Let yourself be proud of this choice to slow down, to learn softly, to rest. We've learned that geese are cooperators, flying in formation and sharing the difficult work of leadership. They're devoted partners, mating for life and sharing the tasks of raising young. They live longer than we might expect and gather in gaggles and skeins. They're plant eaters with specially adapted beaks, and they've recovered beautifully in North America after conservation efforts. Their young are precocious swimmers who sometimes band together for safety, and they have a third eyelid protecting them as they move through their world. With impressive wingspans, they cross vast distances, carried by 20,000 feathers that are replaced each year. Breathe deeply, let it all go, and when you're ready, let sleep find you. Breathing softly, allowing the world of geese to unfold before us like a quiet dream. There's no rush, nowhere to be, just here, just now. We often use the word geese for all of these birds, but there's a distinction worth knowing, a subtle difference. Female geese are indeed called geese, while the males have their own name. They're known as ganders. Gander. It's an old word, solid and strong. The ganders and the geese, paired together, moving through life as partners. And here's something that might touch your heart, something that reveals the depth of feeling in these creatures. Geese mourn when they lose a mate or when their eggs are destroyed. They grieve. This isn't speculation, it's observed behavior. They call out, sometimes for days, their honking taking on a different quality. They linger at the sight of loss, returning again and again, as if hoping for a different outcome. It's a reminder that we're not alone in feeling sorrow, that love and loss ripple through the animal world too. You're doing beautifully, allowing yourself to feel, to be present. Your heart knows how to hold both sadness and peace. And right now, peace is settling over you like a soft blanket. Let yourself be held by this moment. Geese are builders, architects of their own small kingdoms. They don't simply find a spot and settle. They improve it. They collect twigs, pieces of bark, dried leaves. They arrange these materials, creating a nest that's more than just a depression in the ground. There's creativity here, choice. Each goose makes different decisions about what to gather, where to place it. It's a form of homemaking, simple but real. The same impulse that makes us arrange our own spaces for comfort. These birds also possess something remarkable, a homing instinct so strong it guides them across continents. Year after year, geese navigate back to the same breeding grounds, places they've never forgotten. How do they do this? It's a combination of gifts. They use memory, visual landmarks remembered from previous journeys, that lake shaped like a crescent, that river valley running north to south, and they sense something we cannot, Earth's magnetic field, an invisible map written in forces we can barely comprehend. Notice how your breathing has found its own rhythm now. Deep and easy, your body is navigating toward rest, guided by instincts as old and reliable as those of the geese. You don't have to think about it. It's already happening, and you're allowing it so perfectly. Here's something almost magical. Geese can sleep while floating on water, rocking gently with the waves, and they do this through a fascinating ability. They rest one hemisphere of their brain at a time. Half the brain sleeps, while the other half maintains just enough awareness to sense danger, to stay afloat. Then they switch, giving each side its turn at rest. It's called unihemispheric sleep, and it means they're never completely vulnerable, even in their dreams. The visual world of a goose is richer than ours in ways we can barely imagine. They see ultraviolet light, wavelengths that are invisible to human eyes. The world appears to them with colors and contrasts we'll never experience. And their visual acuity, their sharpness of sight, exceeds ours significantly. They can spot details at distances where we'd see only blur. A predator far across a field, a landmark on the distant horizon, all clear and distinct. Your own vision might be getting soft and hazy now, and that's wonderful. You don't need to see clearly right now. You can let your eyes rest. Let the darkness behind your eyelids be complete and comfortable. You're so relaxed, doing so well. A goose's bill is more than just a tool for eating. It's an instrument of sensitivity. Inside that orange or black bill are touch receptors, nerve endings so refined they're comparable to human fingertips. When a goose dabbles in mud or water, probing for food, it's feeling its way, distinguishing textures, identifying what's edible through touch as much as through sight. It's like reading Braille, but for food, for the world itself. And the young, the newly hatched goslings, emerge with abilities that seem impossibly advanced. Almost immediately after hatching, still damp and new, They can distinguish plant odors. They know, somehow they know, what's good to eat and what to avoid. Offer them something with a scent like lavender, something unpalatable, and they'll shake their tiny heads, rejection clear in that small gesture. This knowledge isn't learned slowly. It's rapid, almost instant, a gift that keeps them safe from the very beginning. Feel how safe you are right now, how your body knows what it needs. You have your own wisdom, your own instincts guiding you toward rest, toward restoration, and you're listening to them, honoring them. That's such a kind thing you're doing for yourself. Geese are weather prophets, reading signs in the air that we miss entirely. Before a storm arrives, sometimes hours before, geese become restless. They sense the changing pressure, the shifting winds, and they adjust accordingly. During migration, if bad weather approaches, they'll alter their paths, finding safer routes, waiting when necessary. They're not just traveling through the weather, they're in conversation with it. Let's travel now to a place of volcanic slopes and highland meadows, to the Hawaiian Islands, where lives the world's rarest goose. The Hawaiian goose, known locally as the nene, is found nowhere else on Earth. Endemic means belonging to one place only, and the nene belongs to Hawaii, specifically to the highlands, the cooler elevations. They've adapted in unique ways. Their feet less webbed than other geese, better for walking on lava rock. Once nearly extinct, now slowly recovering, each nene is precious. You too are precious, unique, and right now you're exactly where you belong. In this state of deepening calm, letting go more with each breath. There's nothing you need to fix or change. Just be, just rest. Here's another marvel of their vision. Geese can control each eye independently. While one eye focuses forward, the other might be scanning to the side, or even looking backward. This gives them a panoramic awareness, the ability to watch for predators in multiple directions simultaneously. They're rarely caught off guard, rarely surprised. Their world is one of constant, effortless vigilance. And sometimes, geese do something that looks almost joyful. During bathing rituals, when they're cleaning themselves thoroughly in water, Canada geese will sometimes flip completely upside down, head under water, tail feathers pointing to the sky. They flap their wings vigorously, washing every surface, scrubbing with water and movement. Then they right themselves, shake, and the world is bright and clean again. It's vigorous, purposeful, and oddly charming. Your own body might want to shift position now, to adjust, to find an even more comfortable way of being. Listen to that impulse. Move if you need to, and then settle even deeper, like the goose after its bath, finding the perfect position for rest. We mentioned their homing instinct earlier, but let's understand it more fully. Migrating geese use what scientists call a built-in compass. They sense Earth's magnetic field, feeling the pull of north and south in ways we cannot. But that's not all. They also navigate by the sun during the day, tracking its arc across the sky, and at night, the stars serve as guides, ancient points of light showing the way. And still more, they recognize landmarks, mountains and rivers and coastlines, knowledge passed down from parents to young, each generation teaching the next. These routes are learned and inherited, wisdom in flight. We learned that male geese are called ganders, and that geese mourn their losses with genuine grief. They build nests with gathered materials, showing creativity and care, and they find their way home using memory, landmarks, and magnetic sense. They can sleep with half a brain at a time while floating, and they see ultraviolet light with superior vision. Their bills are as sensitive as our fingertips, and goslings know immediately which plants to avoid. Geese predict weather changes and adjust accordingly, and the rare nene lives only in Hawaiian highlands. They control each eye independently, seeing in all directions, and they flip upside down during enthusiastic baths. Their migration uses a compass we cannot feel, guided by magnetism, sun, stars, and the teachings of their parents. Breathe it all in, these gentle truths about creatures who share our world, and then breathe it all out. Letting go, letting sleep rise up to meet you like water beneath a floating bird. Perhaps you've been drifting in that peaceful space between waking and sleep. Either way, you're exactly where you need to be. Let's continue together, gently, softly. Think about the neck of a goose, that elegant, curved length connecting head to body. It's not just beautiful, it's functional, perfectly designed for the life they lead. Those long necks enable geese to graze efficiently on uneven terrain, reaching down into little hollows and slopes without losing balance. And in water, in water they're marvelous. They can tip forward, necks stretching down to reach submerged plants, pulling up vegetation from below the surface without needing to dive completely under. The neck does the work, the body stays afloat, everything serving its purpose. When the time comes for geese to find their life partners, when the air warms and the breeding season approaches, they don't simply pair off quietly. No, there's romance here. There's courtship. Geese perform elaborate dances, rituals of attraction that involve honking in particular rhythms, bobbing their heads up and down, stretching their necks high and proud. It's communication and display, a way of saying, choose me, I'm strong, I'm worthy. And when two geese find harmony in their dance, they often stay together for all the years that follow. Your breathing is so steady now, so peaceful. You're allowing your body to do what it knows how to do, to slow down, to soften. This is your own ritual, your own courtship with sleep, and you're doing it so beautifully. Here's something that might surprise you. Geese recognize individual humans. They have the ability to distinguish one person from another, to remember faces, to remember interactions. Someone who has been kind, who has fed them, might be greeted with calm acceptance. But someone who has been threatening, who has disturbed the flock, might be met with aggression even weeks or months later. They remember, they know who you are. It's a sophisticated social intelligence, recognizing individuals across species. Long ago, in medieval times, people looked at barnacle geese and created a myth to explain what they didn't understand. These geese appeared in Europe during certain seasons, but no one knew where they nested, where they came from, and so a story emerged. A belief that barnacle geese hatched not from eggs, but from barnacles growing on driftwood in the sea. Can you imagine thinking that these birds emerged from the ocean, born from shells and wood? It seems strange to us now, but it reminds us how humans have always tried to explain the mysteries around them, creating stories when knowledge was absent. Let your own mind create whatever stories or images it wishes right now. Dreams are beginning to form at the edges of your consciousness, and that's perfect. You don't need to hold on to anything. Just let thoughts drift like driftwood on gentle waves. The digestive system of a goose is a marvel of efficiency. It has to be, because the plants they eat are tough, fibrous, not easy to break down. Their digestive tract is complex, with specialized sections that extract every possible nutrient from grass and stems and leaves. What seems like simple grazing is actually supported by intricate biology, chambers and processes working together, transforming plants into energy for flight, for warmth, for life. Now let's travel in our minds to warmer places, to Africa, where Egyptian geese make their homes. These geese have developed a remarkable defense strategy, a trick of survival that requires courage and quick thinking. When a predator approaches, a leopard perhaps, creeping toward vulnerable chicks, a parent goose will sometimes feign injury. They'll stumble, drag a wing, act wounded and easy to catch. The predator, seeing what looks like an easier meal, follows the apparently injured adult and is led away from the helpless young. Only when the chicks are safe does the parent miraculously recover. Taking flight, the injury was never real, just theater, just love expressed as deception. Feel how protected you are right now, how safe in this moment. Your body is guarding you. Your wise mind is leading you toward the rest you need. Trust this. Sink deeper into this safety. You're held, you're watched over, even if only by your own caring attention to yourself. Let's return to something we touched on before but deserves deeper appreciation. Geese produce their own waterproofing, creating it within their bodies. At the base of their tail is a gland, the uropygial gland, also called the preen gland. This gland secretes oil, and geese carefully spread this oil across their feathers during preening. You might have seen them, heads twisted around, running their bills through feathers again and again. They're not just cleaning, they're waterproofing, maintaining that crucial barrier that keeps water out and warmth in. Each feather coated, each section attended to, its maintenance, self-care, survival. Geese can be fierce, especially when territory is at stake. When two Canada geese come into conflict, when boundaries are disputed or nesting sites contested, they don't resolve it quietly. There are threat displays, rituals of intimidation, head pumping, the head moving up and down rapidly, a clear challenge, hissing, that sharp intake and release of breath that says, stay back. And sometimes, when displays aren't enough, wing strikes, powerful blows delivered with those strong wings. These disputes usually end without serious injury. One bird backing down, territory established, order restored. Your own mind might have conflicts, thoughts competing for attention, worries trying to assert themselves, but here, right now, you can let all that go. There's no territory to defend in this moment, no battles to fight, just peace, just the gentle surrender to sleep, and you're managing this so well. Consider the feet of a goose, those orange webbed feet that seem so simple. They wade in icy water, stand on frozen lakes, and yet the goose's body stays warm. How? There's a system, a beautiful piece of biological engineering called countercurrent heat exchange. The arteries carrying warm blood down into the feet run right alongside the veins carrying cold blood back up. Heat transfers from the outgoing blood to the incoming blood, warming it before it reaches the body, preventing the cold from penetrating to the core. The feet may be cold, but the body, the vital organs, remain protected. Its efficiency, its elegance. Not everything geese do is about survival in harsh terms. Sometimes they simply play. Within flocks, geese engage in behaviors that seem to have no purpose except enjoyment. They roll on the ground, flopping over and kicking their feet in the air. They splash in water, not bathing, just splashing, sending droplets flying. They chase each other in games that look remarkably like tag, running and honking, no predator involved, no threat, just energy and something that looks very much like joy. Even birds play. Even geese have their moments of lightness. Let yourself feel light now, unburdened. Whatever weight you carried into this moment can be set down. Your muscles are loose, your jaw unclenched. Perhaps even a small smile touches your lips at the thought of geese playing games. Life doesn't have to be so serious all the time. And right now, this moment of rest is your play, your freedom. When goslings hatch, still downy and new, something crucial happens very quickly. They imprint, forming an immediate, powerful bond with their parents. Whoever they see first in those critical hours becomes their guide, their template for "this is family." And this imprinting serves a vital purpose, because when migration time comes, those goslings will follow their parents on that first long journey. Every lake, every rest stop, every landmark, they're learning the route by following, by watching, by experiencing. The migration path is passed down, generation to generation, not through genes but through teaching, through the shared journey of family. You too learn to rest by following, by being held as a child, by watching others sleep, and now your body remembers, knows the way. You can follow yourself down into sleep, trusting the path. When goslings are threatened, when danger approaches, some adult geese, particularly Canada geese, make a choice that might seem surprising. They don't flee. They don't take to the air and abandon their young to fate. They stand their ground, aggressively. A Canada goose defending goslings is a formidable sight. Wings spread wide, neck extended, hissing and charging at threats many times its size. Dogs, humans, even vehicles sometimes face the wrath of a protective goose parent. It's courage, it's commitment, it's the choice to face danger rather than leave the vulnerable behind. And finally, let's appreciate once more those remarkable feathers we mentioned before. 20,000 plus feathers, and they provide such excellent insulation that geese remain warm even in freezing conditions. They sleep on ice. They swim in water just above freezing. They fly through winter storms at altitude where temperatures plummet far below zero. And inside all those feathers, their body temperature stays regulated, stable, warm. It's a barrier against the cold, a portable environment, home carried on their very bodies. You too have what you need to be comfortable: your blanket, your bed, the temperature around you, all supporting your rest. And if you need to adjust anything, do so now, and then settle even deeper, knowing you're perfectly arranged for sleep. Let it settle like snow, soft and quiet. Geese have long necks for efficient grazing and reaching underwater plants. They perform courtship dances with honking and head movements. They recognize individual human faces and remember us. Once, people mythically believed barnacle geese hatched from barnacles on driftwood. Their complex digestive systems extract nutrients from tough plants. Egyptian geese pretend to be injured to lead predators from their young. Geese waterproof their feathers with oil from a special gland. They use threat displays and wing strikes in territorial disputes. Their feet have a heat exchange system that prevents cold from reaching their bodies. They play, rolling and splashing and chasing for joy. Goslings imprint on parents and learn migration routes by following. Some geese aggressively stand their ground when protecting young, and their feathers insulate so well they stay warm even in freezing conditions. All these marvels, all these adaptations, all these behaviors, and now let them all fade, becoming soft sounds, distant meanings, just the rhythm of words carrying you deeper, deeper, toward the sleep that's waiting, that's ready, that's here. Let's drift a little further into the world of geese. You're breathing slow and steady, your body heavy and relaxed. There's so much gentleness to discover. Sometimes, in the wild, geese do something that seems almost human in its tenderness. They show affection through what looks remarkably like hugging. Two geese, often mates, will pull their necks together, intertwining them briefly, holding that position for just a moment. It's deliberate, intentional, and then it ends, and they resume their normal activities as if nothing extraordinary happened. But something did happen, a moment of connection, of reassurance, of bond reinforcement. Even birds embrace, even geese need touch. We talked earlier about how geese sleep with half their brain at a time, that remarkable unihemispheric sleep. But there's more nuance to it, more control than we first described. Geese can actually adjust the depth of their sleep by how much they open or close their eyes. An eye fully closed means that side of the brain is in deeper sleep, more fully resting. An eye half open, or opening periodically, means lighter sleep, more vigilance. They're constantly calibrating, balancing the need for rest against the need for safety, adjusting moment by moment based on how secure they feel, how much threat might be present. The sleep, but it's conscious sleep, controlled sleep. And you're controlling your own rest so perfectly right now. You've created this safe space, this time set aside. Your awareness is dimming like a slowly closing eye. And that's exactly what should be happening. You're balanced perfectly between consciousness and sleep. And soon, so soon, sleep will win. Let yourself feel proud of how you're caring for yourself, how you're choosing rest. This is wisdom, and you embody it beautifully. Geese are often territorial. We know this, but some species have found a middle way, a compromise between isolation and community. Certain geese defend semi-colonial nesting sites, meaning they nest near each other, closer than strict territories would normally allow, but not quite in a dense colony. When these arrangements first form, there are fights, intense conflicts as boundaries are established, as each pair stakes their claim. But once the hierarchy is set, once everyone knows their place and their neighbor's limits, something shifts. They tolerate each other, close neighbors, close enough to call out to, close enough to see, but each with their own space. The initial aggression gives way to acceptance, to coexistence, territory maintained, but community acknowledged. And here's something wonderful, something that reveals just how sophisticated these birds are. Geese develop distinct regional accents. Yes, accents. The honks of geese in one area sound subtly different from the honks of geese in another. The variations help identify flock members, a way of recognizing you sound like home, you sound like us. Just as humans from different regions speak the same language with different inflections and tones, so do geese. A Canada goose from the Midwest sounds different from one from the Atlantic coast. The differences are real, measurable, meaningful. Language, or something very much like it, varying by location and learned from the community. Your own inner voice is getting quieter now, softer, and that's so good. You don't need words right now. Don't need to narrate or analyze, just the sound of these facts washing over you, just the feeling of sinking deeper. Your mind is ready. Your body is ready, and you're allowing it all so gracefully. There's nothing left to do but let go. And you're doing that. You're releasing into rest. Wild geese sometimes pull their necks together in brief, affectionate embraces before returning to normal life. They control how deeply they sleep by adjusting their eye openness, using that remarkable ability to rest one brain hemisphere while the other watches. Some species nest in semi-colonial sites, fighting initially but then tolerating close neighbors once boundaries are clear. And geese develop regional accents in their honking variations by location that help them identify members of their own flock, their own home. All of this speaks to complexity, to emotional depth, to community and communication, and now let it all fade into the background. Just sounds, just rhythms, just the soft pull of sleep drawing you down, down, down. Rest now. You've earned this. You've chosen this, and sleep is here. Breathe with me, in and out. Your body is becoming lighter, or perhaps heavier. It's hard to tell anymore, and that confusion is perfect. It means you're right at the edge of sleep. Let's continue this gentle journey together. Imagine the highest places on Earth, the Himalayan mountains, peaks scraping the sky at heights where the air is thin and cold and precious. Most creatures cannot survive there. Most birds cannot fly there. But there is a species of goose, the bar-headed goose, that doesn't just survive at these altitudes. It migrates over them. These remarkable birds fly at heights up to 29,000 feet, nearly as high as Mount Everest itself. Temperatures at that altitude can drop to 40 or 50 degrees below zero. The air contains only a fraction of the oxygen available at sea level, and yet they fly. They've evolved larger lungs, more efficient hearts, blood that carries oxygen more effectively, and they're strategic, exploiting tailwinds, riding the air currents that flow over those ancient peaks. It's one of the most extreme migrations in the natural world, a journey that seems impossible and yet happens twice each year. Every summer, geese face a vulnerable time, a period of transformation that requires both courage and careful timing. They molt, shedding their feathers to grow fresh ones. But unlike many birds who lose feathers gradually, a few at a time, maintaining the ability to fly throughout, Geese undergo what's called synchronous molt. They lose all their flight feathers at once. All of them, for several weeks. They cannot fly. They're grounded, earthbound, relying on water and vigilance for safety. Families often gather together during this time, finding protected areas, lakes and marshes where they can swim to escape danger since they cannot take to the air. It's a time of renewal, but also of risk. The old feathers falling away, the new ones growing in, transformation at the cost of temporary helplessness. And you're transforming too. Right now, in this moment, your wakeful self is molting away, and your sleeping self is emerging, fresh and new. This vulnerability you feel, this letting go of control, it's natural. It's necessary for rest. You're doing so well, trusting the process, allowing yourself to be grounded, to be still. This is beautiful. What you're doing, this surrender. Let's think about how geese walk. Really walk. Not fly or swim, but move across solid ground. They're actually quite good at it. More upright and graceful than many waterfowl. And there's an anatomical reason. Their legs are positioned more forward on their bodies compared to ducks. Ducks waddle. Their legs set far back for swimming efficiency, making land travel awkward. But geese have found a balance. Legs forward enough to allow upright posture, a more dignified gait, while still maintaining their swimming prowess. They can walk across fields, graze comfortably, move overland when needed. Design optimized for multiple environments, multiple ways of being. We touched on this before, but it's worth revisiting as we deepen our understanding. Canada geese often nest in what's called semi-colonial arrangements. Not solitary, not densely packed, but something in between. Close enough to have neighbors, to be part of a loose community. The establishment of these nesting areas involves fierce initial battles, territorial disputes where each pair claims their space, defends their boundaries. But once the hierarchy settles, once everyone knows where they stand, the aggression fades. They tolerate each other. Neighbors, not friends exactly, but accepted presences. The fights were necessary. The tolerance that follows is earned. Feel how your own tensions have faded, how the struggles of the day have receded into distant memory. You've fought your battles, and now is the time for peace, for acceptance of this moment exactly as it is. Your breathing is so slow now, so even like gentle waves on a protected shore. Let yourself appreciate how far you've come, how deeply you've relaxed. You're safe in this nest of blankets and softness. Nothing to defend, nothing to prove. When geese do need to defend, when a threat approaches their nest, they have a repertoire of defensive postures, specific behaviors designed to intimidate, to warn, to protect. They hiss, that sharp sound emerging from an open beak, head lowered in a threat posture. They stomp their feet, a drumming on the ground that says, "I see you, I'm ready." And something fascinating, they can vibrate their neck feathers, a quivering that makes them look larger, more formidable, more dangerous than they might actually be. This theater again, performance meant to avoid actual conflict, to convince the intruder to leave before violence becomes necessary. Most often, it works. Here's something you might not expect. In most bird species, males and females look different. The males are often brighter, more colorful, more ornate, while females are duller, more camouflaged. It's called sexual dimorphism, and it's extremely common. But geese are different. Males and females share identical plumage colors. A gander looks the same as a goose, same patterns, same shades, same markings. You can't tell them apart by looking at their feathers. This is true across subspecies, across the varieties of geese. They've evolved a different strategy, one where both partners blend in equally, where neither stands out, where the pair is unified in appearance as they're unified in bond. Your own mind isn't distinguishing much anymore. The difference between thoughts and dreams is blurring, becoming unified, everything soft and flowing together, and that's exactly right. You don't need sharp boundaries right now. Don't need to categorize or separate. Just let it all be one gentle experience. One long exhale into rest. You're so relaxed, so perfectly positioned between waking and sleep is winning. Let it win. During breeding season, when territories matter most, geese become more aggressive in their protection of space. They puff up, making themselves larger, feathers rising to increase their apparent size, and they chase, pursuing intruders across the ground, sometimes into the air, making clear that this space, this prime nesting territory, is claimed and guarded. The puffing and chasing often happens together, a full display of ownership and willingness to fight. Most intruders, faced with such determination, choose to find somewhere else. The territory is won through assertion, through the willingness to defend. In breeding pairs, there are subtle signals, quiet communications that tell a story if you know how to read them. Often, a female will sit low beside a standing male. This isn't random positioning. It's meaningful. It signals nest protection. The female is on or near the nest, settled low, while the male stands guard, upright and vigilant, watching for threats. It's a division of labor, of posture, of role, both necessary, both committed, the low and the high, the protected and the protector, working in harmony. Let yourself be both. The part of you that's vigilant can stand watch, making sure you're comfortable, safe, while another part of you sits low, nestled deep in rest, protected and calm, both parts of you working together, guiding you into sleep. You're almost there. So close now. Your body knows. Your mind is releasing. Courtship and nesting involve more than the obvious displays, more than the loud honking and wing spreading. There are subtle behaviors too, quieter moments. Geese use circling motions, walking in careful patterns around each other, around the chosen nest site. And they use stillness, stationary poses held for moments, a kind of mutual regard. These are part of intricate routines. Dances with both movement and pause, both the circling and the stillness matter. Both communicate intention, readiness, choice. It's ritual, elegant and ancient, repeated generation after generation, each pair performing their own version of the same timeless ceremony. And you too are in ceremony, the ritual of sleep, the ancient practice of letting go at day's end. Your stillness is perfect. Your circling thoughts are slowing, coming to rest. This is your routine, personal but universal, unique but shared by every human who has ever needed rest. Bar-headed geese accomplish one of Earth's most extreme migrations, flying nearly 29,000 feet over the Himalayas, exploiting tailwinds through the thin, cold air. In summer, geese molt synchronously, losing all flight feathers at once and remaining grounded for weeks while new ones grow. Their legs are positioned forward on their bodies, allowing more upright walking than ducks, better adapted for land. Canada geese nest semi-colonially, fighting fiercely at first but then tolerating close neighbors. When defending nests, they use hissing, lowered heads, foot stomping, and vibrating neck feathers. Unlike most birds, male and female geese share identical plumage colors, both looking the same. During breeding, they puff up and chase intruders to claim and guard territories. A female sitting low beside a standing male signals nest protection. Roles clearly divided, and courtship includes subtle circling motions and stationary poses, intricate routines of movement and stillness. All these patterns, all these behaviors, all these adaptations, and now they're fading, becoming soft, becoming distant, like geese flying far overhead, their calls growing fainter, fainter, until there's only silence, only breath, only sleep. Let go now, completely. You've done so well, and rest is here, waiting, welcoming you. There's no wrong way to experience this journey. Let's continue together, breathing softly, minds open and peaceful. When geese encounter each other in territorial disputes, when boundaries are tested and space is contested, the conflict follows a pattern, an escalation that begins with display and only rarely ends in actual violence. It starts with head pumping, that rapid up and down motion of the head and neck, a clear signal of challenge, of readiness. Then comes bill opening, the beak gaping wide, showing the inside of the mouth, the serrated edges, the potential for harm. These are warnings, opportunities for one bird to back down before things intensify. But if neither retreats, if both stand firm, then the displays give way to action. Wing strikes, powerful blows delivered with those strong, broad wings, impacts that can bruise, that can hurt, that usually convince one party to yield. It's a graduated response, communication first, violence only as a last resort. We've spoken of the bar-headed goose before, those remarkable migrants who cross the Himalayas at breathtaking heights. But let's understand more deeply how they accomplish this seemingly impossible feat. It's not just about physical adaptation, though those matter enormously. It's also about strategy, about reading the air itself. These geese exploit tailwinds. They time their flights to catch winds moving in their direction of travel, letting the air carry them, push them. They don't fight against the elements. They work with them, even at altitudes near 29,000 feet, where oxygen is scarce and every breath must count. They're riding the currents, finding the paths of least resistance. It's wisdom, ancient and instinctual, choosing when to fly and how to fly based on forces invisible to the eye. And you're learning to work with your own currents right now, not fighting against sleepiness but riding it, letting it carry you. You're reading your own body's signals, feeling the heaviness in your limbs, the slowness of your thoughts, and rather than resisting, you're cooperating. This is such wisdom, such gentle intelligence, the way you're allowing this process to unfold naturally. It's beautiful. You should feel proud. You're doing everything exactly right, just floating on the currents of your own tiredness, letting them take you where you need to go. Let's return once more to how geese move on land. Those forward-positioned legs we mentioned, they're worth deeper appreciation. Think about a duck waddling, that side-to-side motion, awkward and comical on solid ground, or a swan on land, elegant in water but ungainly when walking. But geese move with relative grace. Their legs positioned farther forward on their bodies allow them to walk more upright, more steadily. They can graze comfortably for hours, walking slowly through fields, heads down, bodies balanced. They can run when needed, chasing intruders or fleeing threats. They're adapted for multiple environments. Water, yes, but land too, air certainly. They don't sacrifice one ability for another. They maintain versatility. This balance serves them well. From the moment they hatch, goslings come into the world with instincts that protect them, knowledge that seems impossibly advanced for creatures only hours old. We've touched on this before, but consider it again as you drift. When presented with plants that have unpalatable scents, lavender, for instance, or other strong, potentially toxic odors, goslings shake their heads vigorously. They know, without being taught, without trial and error, They recognize danger through scent and reject it. That rapid head shake, back and forth, a clear no. This is survival coded into their very being, instinct operating from the first moments of life. Your own body has instincts too, ancient knowledge about when to rest, how to sleep. You don't have to think about lowering your heart rate, about changing your brain waves, about releasing certain hormones and suppressing others. Your body knows. It's doing all of that right now, without any conscious effort from you, and you're trusting it, honoring these deep instincts, letting your body do what it has always known how to do. This trust you're showing, this willingness to let go, it's so good. You're being so kind to yourself, so patient. Allow yourself to feel the warmth of that kindness, settling over you like sunlight, like gentle hands. You're safe, you're cared for, even if only by yourself, and that's enough. During breeding season, when hormones surge and territories become precious, geese transform. They become bolder, more aggressive, more theatrical. They puff up their feathers, making themselves appear larger than they are. Every feather lifted slightly, creating volume, creating presence. And they chase. Oh, they chase. Intruders who venture too close are pursued, sometimes for considerable distances. The territorial goose running or flying after them, honking, relentless, making absolutely clear that this space is claimed, that this nesting territory is secured and will be defended. These chasing rituals aren't just about the immediate intruder. They're performances, messages to all who might be watching. This is mine. Test me at your peril. And usually, the message is received, the territory respected. In the world of nesting geese, posture tells a story if you know how to read the language of position and stance. You can understand what's happening without hearing a sound. A female sitting low, body compressed close to the ground, beside a male standing tall and alert. This is a tableau of protection. The female is on or very near the nest, perhaps sitting on eggs, perhaps guarding newly hatched goslings. The male stands guard, his height giving him better visibility, his upright posture signaling readiness to defend. They're a team, each playing their role, low and high, stillness and vigilance, both necessary, both committed to the same goal, the survival of their young. Feel your own posture now, how you've settled into your resting position. Perhaps you've pulled your knees up slightly, or stretched out long. Your body has found its own protected stance, its own way of feeling safe and comfortable, and you can adjust if you need to. Shift a pillow, pull a blanket higher. Your body knows what it needs, and you're listening, attending to those quiet requests, this care you're showing yourself. It matters. Let yourself really feel that, how much you deserve this rest, this comfort, this gentle attention. Your breathing is so slow now, so deep, like a tide going out and out and out. You're doing wonderfully. Just continue. Just breathe. Just be. Courtship among geese includes the obvious, the loud displays, the honking and wing spreading, but it also includes subtlety, nuance, quiet moments that matter just as much. Geese engage in circling motions, walking around each other in careful patterns, measuring, assessing, communicating through movement. And these circles aren't random. They're part of nesting and courtship displays, rituals that have been performed for thousands of generations, each pair performing their own version, but all recognizing the pattern, the meaning. Circle and pause, circle and regard. It's a dance without music, or perhaps the music is in the rustling of feathers, the soft calls, the beating of two hearts finding their rhythm together. Now let's revisit something remarkable, that synchronous molt we discussed before, but let's sit with it longer, feel it more deeply. Every summer, geese lose all their flight feathers at once, not gradually, not one or two at a time, but all of them simultaneously. For weeks, they cannot fly. Imagine that if you were a bird, flight is freedom, is escape, is identity itself. And for weeks each year, it's gone. They're grounded, earthbound. They must hide in safe waters, lakes and marshes where they can swim to evade predators since the sky is closed to them. Families often gather together during this vulnerable time, finding strength in numbers, and slowly, day by day, new feathers grow, fresh and strong, replacing the worn ones. When the molt is complete, they can fly again, renewed. But those weeks of flightlessness, they require trust, patience, acceptance of temporary limitation. You too go through cycles, times of strength and times of vulnerability, times of soaring and times of staying close to safe harbors. Right now, this is your time of rest, of renewal. You're not meant to be flying through tasks and responsibilities in this moment. You're meant to be here, still, letting new energy grow quietly within you. Trust this cycle. You'll fly again. But now is for resting, for staying low and safe and still. In Africa, where Egyptian geese make their homes, a drama of survival plays out with fascinating regularity. When predators approach, when a leopard or jackal creeps near to vulnerable chicks, an adult goose will sometimes employ a deception that requires remarkable courage. The goose pretends to be injured, dragging a wing as if it's broken, stumbling as if weak or hurt. The predator, seeing what appears to be easy prey, follows, and the goose leads it away from the helpless young, drawing danger toward itself and away from its offspring. Only when sufficient distance has been created, when the chicks are safely out of range, does the goose miraculously recover, taking flight, leaving the confused predator behind. This tactic often succeeds, the feigned injury convincing enough, the parent's courage great enough, the love powerful enough to risk everything. There's something deeply moving about sacrifice, about protection. Even in the animal world, let yourself feel held by that energy, that same protective force that keeps you safe. Whether it's your own self-care or the love of others or simply the universe itself, you're protected right now. You're allowed to be vulnerable, to let your guard down completely. Nothing is threatening you in this moment. You can let every defense dissolve, every wall crumble. Just softness, just openness, just the deep, deep relaxation of complete safety. Your jaw is loose, your shoulders have dropped, your hands are open and relaxed. Feel how good this feels, how right. You're melting into rest, and it's the most natural thing in the world. We've spoken before about how geese sleep, but let's deepen our understanding once more. They adjust the depth of their sleep by varying their eye openness. An eye fully closed means deeper sleep, that hemisphere of the brain more fully at rest. An eye partially open, or opening periodically to scan the environment, means lighter sleep, maintained vigilance. They're constantly calibrating. One brain hemisphere sleeping while the other watches, then switching, giving both sides their turn at deep rest while never being completely unaware. It's a sophisticated system, a balance between the necessity of rest and the imperative of survival. If you find yourself drifting and then surfacing, drifting and surfacing, don't worry, don't judge it. You're doing exactly what geese do. You're resting while also maintaining just enough awareness to know you're safe. Soon, very soon, you'll be able to close both eyes fully, to let both hemispheres rest, to sleep deeply and completely. But if you need to hover at the edge a little longer, that's fine too. There's no rush, no schedule, just your own rhythm, your own timing, perfect as it is. Let's look now at the Canada goose more closely, at the distinctive markings that make them so recognizable. They feature white cheek patches, bright against the black of their necks and heads, like two luminous spots on either side. And there's that distinctive marking across their throat, often called a chin strap, where the white patches almost, but not quite, connect beneath the beak. It's a pattern so consistent, so clear, that even from a distance you can identify them. Black neck, white chin strap, brown body. They wear these colors year-round, male and female alike, a uniform that announces their identity to the world. When goslings first emerge from their eggs, breaking through that shell after days of development, they don't look like their parents. Not yet. They're covered in light yellow down, soft and fluffy, designed more for warmth than waterproofing. Their heads are greenish-gray, a muted color that helps them blend into vegetation, into shadows. They're camouflaged, these tiny vulnerable lives, protected by their drab colors while their parents wear the bold patterns. Over weeks and months, the adult plumage develops, the yellow fades, the patterns emerge, but in those first days and weeks, they're creatures of soft yellows and greenish grays, little bundles of fluff and potential. You too were small once, vulnerable, learning, and you've grown into who you are now, strong enough to make it through your days, and wise enough to know when to rest. The you of this moment is perfect, evolved and evolving, exactly as you should be. Let yourself feel appreciation for your own journey, for all you've survived and learned, and let that appreciation soften into acceptance, into rest. You've done enough, you've been enough, and now you can simply be, without striving, without effort. Finally, let's examine the bill of a goose more closely. That wide, flat implement that seems so simple but is actually quite sophisticated. The bills are broad, designed for grazing, for sweeping across grass and gathering mouthfuls. But look at the edges, and you'll see they're not smooth. They're serrated, lined with lamellae, little ridges that resemble teeth though they're not true teeth. These lamellae help the goose grip vegetation, cut through tough grasses, hold onto slippery plants. They work like the serrated edge of a knife, increasing friction, improving efficiency. Every part of the goose serves a purpose. Nothing wasted, nothing merely decorative. Form following function, beauty emerging from utility. Your own body is like this. Every part serving purposes you may not even be conscious of. Your lungs exchanging oxygen, your heart pumping blood, your nervous system processing millions of signals, all without your conscious direction. Everything working together, everything serving the whole, and right now, all of it is shifting into rest mode, into repair and restoration mode. Let it happen. Trust the wisdom of your own design. Head pumping and bill opening displays precede wing strikes in territorial disputes. A graduated escalation, bar-headed geese exploit tailwinds to achieve their extreme migrations over the Himalayas. Working with the air rather than against it, their forward-positioned legs allow upright walking, more graceful on land than ducks or swans. Goslings shake their heads at unpalatable sense moments after hatching, instinct protecting them immediately. During breeding season, geese puff feathers and chase intruders to secure territories, making their claims clear. A low-sitting female beside a standing male signals active nest guarding. Posture as communication. Subtle circling motions are part of courtship displays. Quiet rituals of bonding. Synchronous molting leaves them flightless for weeks. A vulnerable time of renewal in safe waters. Egyptian geese feign broken wings to lure predators from their chicks. Courage expressed as deception. They adjust sleep depth by varying eye openness. One hemisphere resting while the other watches, Canada geese feature distinctive white cheek patches and chin strap markings. Bold and recognizable, goslings hatch with light yellow down and greenish-gray heads, soft and camouflaged, and their wide, flat bills have serrated edges with lamellae for cutting grasses efficiently. Every feature purposeful. All these facts, all these details, all these wonders, and now let them all dissolve, becoming just sounds, just rhythms, just the gentle current carrying you down into sleep, down into dreams, down into the deep rest your body has been craving. There's nothing left to hold on to, nothing left to remember, just breath, just the soft darkness behind your eyelids, just the feeling of letting go, completely, totally, finally. Sleep now. You've earned it, you've chosen it, and it's here, welcoming you home. Let your body settle even more deeply now, every muscle softening, every thought slowing. We'll continue our gentle exploration together. Not all geese are loud. Not all fill the air with constant honking and calling. There's a domestic breed called pilgrim geese, and they're remarkable for their quietness. They rarely honk or vocalize loudly, setting themselves apart from the noisier domestic breeds that fill farmyards with sound. These pilgrim geese move through their days with a different energy, calmer, more peaceful. They communicate, yes, but softly, subtly. It's as if they understand that not everything needs to be announced. That silence has its own value, its own power. And speaking of pilgrim geese, they have another distinctive quality that makes them special among domestic breeds. They show sexual dimorphism, meaning males and females actually look different from each other. Unlike most geese where the sexes are identical in appearance. And this difference is visible from the very beginning. At hatching, male pilgrim geese have brighter bills, more vivid coloring on that small beak. As they grow, the differences become more pronounced. Males developing lighter plumage, females staying darker. It's unusual in the goose world. This clear distinction, this visible difference between gander and goose. You're doing so well. Still here with these gentle words? Or drifting away and coming back? Either way is perfect. Your mind is becoming quieter, like those pilgrim geese. Less noise, more peace. You don't need to announce your thoughts. Don't need to vocalize your worries. Just let them fade into soft silence. You're creating such beautiful calm within yourself. And that's a gift you're giving to your body, to your spirit. Feel how grateful your whole being is for this rest. Now let's travel in our minds to China, where another breed of domestic goose has been developed over centuries. Chinese geese are known for something remarkable: their egg production. Under ideal conditions, with proper care and nutrition, these geese can lay up to 100 eggs per season. 100. Can you imagine? That's an egg every few days for months. It's extraordinary productivity. the result of careful selective breeding over generations. Humans noticed which geese laid more eggs, bred them together, and over time created these prolific layers. It's a partnership between species, humans providing care, geese providing sustenance. Back in the wild, in Africa, Egyptian geese have developed sophisticated warning systems, community protection strategies that help the whole flock survive. When one goose spots a threat, a leopard perhaps, creeping toward their waterhole with predatory intent, that goose triggers alarm calls. Sharp, urgent, distinctive sounds that mean danger, beware. And the other geese respond, becoming alert, preparing to flee or defend. It's not just self-preservation, it's collective care, one bird's vigilance protecting many, communication that saves lives. And here's something interesting about those leopards. Those powerful predators that might seem like the greatest threat to Egyptian geese. In reality, leopards rarely pursue adult Egyptian geese. They're not worth the effort, too large, too capable of escape, too likely to fight back. Leopards prefer smaller prey, easier targets, like the chicks of wildcats or servals. It's about energy efficiency, about choosing battles that are likely to succeed. The adult geese, with their alarm systems and their size and their ability to take flight, simply aren't the preferred option. So while the threat exists, while vigilance is necessary, actual predation is relatively rare. Notice how calm you feel, how safe. Your own vigilance can relax now. There are no predators in this moment, no threats to watch for. You can let your guard down completely, every defense softening, every tension releasing. Your wise body knows it's safe to rest, safe to be completely vulnerable and open, and you're trusting that knowledge, following it down into deeper and deeper relaxation. Your breathing is so gentle now, barely a whisper, in and out, like the softest wind through feathers. You're being so patient with yourself, so kind, allowing this process to unfold at exactly the right pace. However long it takes for you to fall asleep is exactly the right amount of time. There's no rush, no deadline, just this eternal present moment of peace. Geese and humans have a complicated relationship, one that isn't always harmonious. When geese forage in fields during their migrations, stopping to rest and feed on their long journeys, they can cause economic losses for farmers. Large flocks descending on agricultural land can consume significant amounts of crops, wheat, corn, whatever's growing. From the geese's perspective, it's simply food, fuel needed for survival and travel. From the farmer's perspective, it's lost income, damaged livelihood. Neither is wrong. It's just the reality of sharing space, of wild creatures and human agriculture existing in proximity. Solutions require balance, understanding both needs, finding ways to coexist. In the world of geese, Maturity comes with time, but sometimes youth is impatient. Some geese attempt to establish breeding nests as early as their first or second summer, before they've reached full maturity. They're not quite ready, not quite adults, but the instinct is there, the drive to pair off, to nest, to reproduce. Full maturity typically comes at around age 3, when their bodies are completely developed, when they have the experience and strength to successfully raise young. But these younger geese try anyway. Sometimes they succeed. More often they learn, gaining experience that will serve them in future breeding seasons. It's practice preparation, the eager enthusiasm of youth meeting the patient requirements of biology. Let yourself feel young in this moment, new, like you're learning to sleep for the first time, approaching it with fresh curiosity rather than old expectations. There's no pressure to perform, no requirement to succeed, just the gentle attempt, the willing practice, and if sleep comes, wonderful. If it takes a little longer, that's wonderful too. You're learning, experiencing, being present with the process, and that presence is such a meditation, such a gift. You're not rushing towards some future state. You're fully here, fully now, and in this nowness, everything is exactly as it should be. We mentioned earlier that most geese lack obvious sexual dimorphism, that males and females look identical, and this bears repeating because it's so unusual in the bird world. Beyond slight size differences, with ganders being marginally larger than geese, there's no way to tell them apart by appearance. Same plumage, same coloring, same patterns. You'd need to observe behavior or wait for breeding season when roles become clear, or measure carefully to detect those subtle size variations. But at a glance, they're the same. It's a different strategy than most birds use, where males are bright and females are camouflaged. Here, both partners blend equally. Both are equally visible or invisible, equal in appearance as they are in partnership. Finally, let's return once more to that remarkable phenomenon of molting, but consider it from a different angle: the timing. Geese undergo their simultaneous wing feather molt during the breeding season, while they're rearing young. Think about that timing. They become flightless precisely when they have goslings to protect, when they're most tied to a specific location anyway, when they need to stay close to nests and young rather than ranging widely. It's strategic timing. Molting when being grounded is less of a disadvantage, when they need to be earthbound anyway to care for their offspring. The vulnerability of flightlessness coincides with the necessity of staying put, two factors aligning, making the best of a challenging situation. And you're molting in your own way right now, shedding the day, releasing what no longer serves you, staying grounded in this bed, this couch, this safe space. You're exactly where you need to be, renewing yourself, growing fresh energy for tomorrow even as you release the old. It's perfect timing. This rest, this letting go, Everything in its season, everything in its place. Pilgrim geese are remarkably quiet, rarely honking loudly, setting themselves apart with their peaceful nature. These same pilgrims show sexual dimorphism, with males having brighter bills from the moment of hatching. Chinese geese are prolific layers, producing up to 100 eggs per season under ideal conditions. Egyptian geese sound alarm calls when spotting threats like leopards, protecting the flock through communication. Those leopards rarely pursue adult Egyptian geese, preferring smaller, easier prey. Foraging geese can cause economic losses for farmers, consuming crops during migration. A complicated relationship between wild and domestic. Some young geese attempt breeding in their first or second summer, before reaching full maturity at age 3, eager but not quite ready. Most geese lack obvious sexual dimorphism, only slight size differences distinguishing males from females, and they molt their flight feathers during breeding season. Strategic timing that makes them flightless when they need to stay grounded anyway. All these patterns, all these adaptations, all these ways of being, and now let them all dissolve like mist in morning sun, becoming nothing, becoming silence, becoming the soft darkness that holds you. Your body is so heavy now, or so light, it's hard to tell which, and that confusion is beautiful. A sign you're right at the threshold, right at the edge. Soon you'll cross over, or perhaps you already have. Perhaps you're already dreaming, already gone. Let go, let go, let go. There's nothing left to hold, nothing left to know. Just sleep, just peace, just this. Breathe with me, slowly, deeply. Your body is so relaxed now, heavy and comfortable. Let's drift together a little further into the world of geese. Each word like a gentle wave, carrying you closer to sleep. There's something magical about experiencing a migration without seeing it first, about hearing it before it appears. When flocks of geese travel during migration, especially large flocks, they produce loud, continuous honking. The sound carries, traveling through the air, reaching your ears long before the V-shaped formation becomes visible against the sky. You hear them first, that distant chorus, growing louder, and you look up, searching, and then you see them, the pattern, the V, the birds, but the sound came first, announcing their presence, their passage through your small piece of sky. It's like hearing a symphony before the orchestra appears on stage, sound preceding sight, the world experienced through layers of sense. We spoke earlier of pilgrim geese and their unusual quietness, but there's more to what makes them special. They exhibit rare sexual dimorphism among domestic geese, one of the few breeds where males and females actually look different. And this difference is visible from the very beginning. At the moment of hatching, male pilgrim geese show brighter bills, more vivid orange coloring on those tiny beaks, It's a marker, a sign, a way to distinguish them from their sisters even when they're just hours old. As they mature, the differences become more pronounced, but even at the start, even at the very beginning, they're marked as different, unique among domestic breeds. You're doing such beautiful work right now, still present with these words, still breathing, still allowing yourself this time. Your dedication to rest is admirable. The way you're honoring your body's need for sleep, it shows such self-awareness, such care. Let that care wrap around you like warm wings. Let yourself feel truly supported, truly held. You're exactly where you belong, doing exactly what you should be doing, and it's enough. You're enough, just as you are in this moment. Chinese geese have long, elegant necks, impressive in their reach and flexibility, but there's something important that distinguishes them from their distant cousins, the swans. While both have considerable neck length, Chinese geese necks lack the pronounced S-curve that swans display. Swan necks flow in that distinctive curved shape, graceful and serpentine, almost impossibly elegant. But Chinese geese necks, despite their similar length, are straighter, more direct. It's a subtle difference, one you might not notice unless you're looking for it, but it's there. Same length, different architecture, different aesthetic, each beautiful in its own way, each perfectly designed for its own life. We've mentioned before how goslings emerge from their eggs with remarkable instincts. But let's sit with this wonder a little longer. Immediately after hatching, within hours of breaking free from the shell, goslings respond to plant odors with sophisticated discrimination. They prefer edible scents, the smells of grasses and plants that will nourish them, while rejecting others. Offer them the scent of violet, something non-edible or potentially harmful, and they turn away, showing clear preference for what's good, what's safe. This isn't learned behavior. There's no time for teaching in those first precious hours. It's innate, coded somehow into their biology, an inheritance of survival knowledge passed down through countless generations. Your own body has this kind of wisdom, knowing what it needs, what to accept and what to reject. Right now it's telling you it needs rest, needs sleep, needs to turn away from the busy world and turn toward peace. And you're listening. You're honoring that inner knowing. That's such wisdom, such beautiful attunement to yourself. Let yourself sink even deeper now, following that innate pull toward rest. Your eyelids are so heavy, your limbs so relaxed. Your whole being is saying yes to sleep, and you're allowing it. You're cooperating with your own deepest needs. This is profound self-care, and you should feel genuinely proud. Let's look once more at the bill of a goose, that wide, flat tool that serves them so well. The bills feature lamellae, those tooth-like serrations along the edges that we've mentioned before. But consider their specific purpose. They're ideal for cropping tough grasses in fields. When a goose grazes, head down, moving slowly across a meadow or agricultural land, those lamellae work like tiny blades. They grip the grass, cut through fibrous stems, allow the goose to efficiently harvest vegetation that would be difficult to manage with a smooth-edged bill. Its specialized equipment, evolved over millennia, perfected for one specific task done thousands of times each day: eating, surviving, thriving. When Canada geese have goslings to protect, when those vulnerable young are nearby, the adult's behavior changes dramatically. Rather than fleeing at the first sign of threat, rather than taking to the air and leaving danger behind, they stay. They honk loudly, forcefully, not to scare the threat away necessarily, but to alert the flock. This communication, warning, rallying the community. Danger here. Be aware, be ready. They're choosing the safety of the group over individual escape, trusting that collective awareness and collective defense offers better protection than solitary flight. It's courage, but it's also strategy, the wisdom of community over isolation. Here's something fascinating about those Egyptian geese we've discussed, and the predators they sometimes encounter. When an Egyptian goose feigns injury to lure a leopard away from chicks, the leopard's behavior is unusual. Unlike their typical disinterest in healthy adult geese, leopards show agitation toward these feigning birds. Perhaps they sense something is off. Perhaps the apparently injured bird triggers predatory interest in a way a healthy one doesn't. Perhaps it's the movement, the vulnerability, the opportunity. The feigning works. The leopard follows, giving the deception enough credibility to draw the danger away. It's a high-stakes performance, and the fact that leopards react differently, becoming agitated rather than remaining disinterested, suggests the act is convincing, realistic, effective. Feel how quiet your mind has become, how distant the world feels. You're safe here. No performance needed. No predators to evade. No young to protect. Just you. Just this moment. Just the soft darkness and the gentle rhythm of breath. In and out. In and out. Like waves on a shore. Endless and peaceful. You're not trying anymore. Not efforting. Just being. Just floating, just allowing sleep to come in its own time, its own way, and it's coming. You can feel it, like a tide rising, inevitable and gentle, welcoming you. Finally, let's consider the first migration of a young goose, that inaugural journey that will be repeated year after year for the rest of its life. The routes are imprinted through parental guidance. Young geese don't know instinctively where to go. They have to learn, to follow, to remember. They fly behind their parents, watching, experiencing, noting landmarks, and the parents use multiple cues to navigate. The sun's position during the day, the stars' patterns at night, and that magnetic sense we've discussed, feeling Earth's invisible field like an internal compass. The young geese absorb it all, learning through experience, through following trusted guides, and once learned, once imprinted, these routes become permanent memory, maps written into their very being. They'll return to the same breeding grounds, the same migration routes, for all their years, because they learned the way. Once, on that first journey, following their parents through the sky. Migrating flocks produce loud honking that's heard before their V formations are seen. Sound preceding sight. Pilgrim geese exhibit rare sexual dimorphism, with males showing brighter bills from hatching. Chinese geese have long necks but lack the pronounced S-curve of swans. A subtle but distinctive difference. Goslings respond to plant odors immediately after hatching, preferring edible scents over non-edible ones like violet. Goosebills feature lamellae, tooth-like serrations perfect for cropping tough grasses. Defensive Canada geese honk loudly near goslings, alerting the flock rather than fleeing. Choosing community protection, leopards show unusual agitation toward feigning Egyptian geese. Unlike their typical disinterest in healthy adults, and young geese imprint their first migration routes through parental guidance, learning to navigate using sun, stars, and magnetic cues. All these patterns of learning, of adaptation, of survival, and now let them fade into the background, becoming whispers, becoming silence, becoming nothing but the soft pull of sleep. You've journeyed so far, learned so much, and now it's time to let it all go, to release everything, to simply be, to simply sleep. Rest now, dear listener. You've earned this peace, this stillness, this sweet surrender to sleep. Let yourself continue to drift. There's no need to hold on, no need to stay alert. Just let these words wash over you like gentle rain, soft and soothing. In any flock of geese, whether they're grazing in a field or resting by water, there's a beautiful cooperation happening, a system of mutual protection that requires trust and turns. Geese practice what's called sentinel behavior. While most of the flock has their heads down, grazing peacefully, feeding on grass and plants, a few members stand watch. You can see them, necks stretched upright, heads high and alert, eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of danger, any approaching predator. They're the guardians, the watchers, and here's what makes it beautiful. They take turns. After a period of vigilance, a sentinel will lower its head to graze, and another member of the flock will raise its neck, taking over the watch. No one carries the burden alone. No one is left unprotected. It's cooperation without words, trust without contracts, just an understanding that they're safer together. Now let's return to those remarkable bar-headed geese, those high-altitude migrants we've spoken of before. We know they fly over the Himalayas, crossing peaks that scrape the edge of space. But how do their bodies accomplish this feat? Science has discovered something extraordinary in their muscles. Bar-headed geese possess 6 to 10% more aerobic muscle fibers than species that fly at low altitudes. That might not sound like much, 6 to 10%, but at 29,000 feet, where oxygen is desperately scarce, where every breath brings only a fraction of what's available at sea level, that difference is the margin between possible and impossible. More aerobic fibers mean more capacity to use oxygen efficiently, to extract energy from air too thin for most creatures to even survive in. It's evolution writing solutions in the very tissue of their bodies. And there's even more complexity to their adaptation. Go deeper, down to the cellular level, and you'll find their flight muscles feature denser capillaries, more blood vessels threading through the tissue, bringing oxygen-carrying blood to every cell. And their mitochondria, those tiny powerhouses within each cell, are positioned strategically near cell membranes. This placement isn't random. It's optimized for efficient oxygen delivery. In thin air, at extreme altitude, oxygen doesn't have far to travel from blood vessel to mitochondria. The distance is minimized, the efficiency maximized, every aspect of their biology tuned for the impossible, making it routine. You're doing such important work right now. Your body is optimizing too, shifting into sleep mode, adjusting breathing, slowing heart rate, changing brain wave patterns, every system tuning itself for rest, for restoration, and you're allowing it, not fighting, not resisting, just cooperating with your own biology the way geese cooperate in their flocks. You're part of a partnership with yourself, and right now, the rest-seeking part of you is being honored, being heard. This is such kindness you're showing yourself, such beautiful self-care. Let yourself feel genuinely good about this choice, this commitment to your own well-being. Geese have strong flocking instincts, powerful drives to stay together, to move as one. In domestic settings, flocks will harmoniously herd together over distances of 5 kilometers or more each day, wandering to forage, to explore, to graze in different areas. And here's what's remarkable. They return home each evening without guidance. No shepherd leading them, no fences forcing them, just an internal sense of home, a desire to return. They navigate back on their own. Together, the flock moving as a unit, finding their way through memory and instinct and mutual understanding. It's autonomy and unity at once, freedom within community. When disputes arise between Canada geese, when territories are contested or courtship displays intensify, the conflicts follow patterns, ritualized aggression that's almost like a language. There's snaking, where the neck extends low and forward, weaving back and forth in a threatening manner. There's shivering, a rapid trembling of the body that signals agitation, readiness to escalate. There's tail fanning, spreading those tail feathers wide in a display of size and intent. And there's head-tossing, sharp upward movements that punctuate the message. I'm serious. Back down or face consequences. These ritualized behaviors serve a purpose. They allow conflicts to be resolved, often without actual violence. Communication replacing combat. Display substituting for destruction. Most disputes end with one bird yielding, acknowledging the other's claim, and both moving on without injury. But despite these displays, despite the capacity for aggression when needed, geese are remarkably peaceful within their flocks. They rarely peck at each other. Cannibalism, common in some bird species, is virtually unheard of among geese. They maintain peaceful group dynamics, even when sharing space with other species. There's a gentleness to flock life, a mutual tolerance. They might have their hierarchies, their territories, their disputes, but within those structures, there's harmony. They coexist. They share resources. They watch over each other. It's civilization, simple but real, order without cruelty. Feel how peaceful you are now, how harmonious your body and mind have become. Earlier tensions, worries, the little conflicts of your day, they've all receded into distant memory. You're experiencing your own internal harmony. All parts of yourself align toward one goal: rest, sleep, restoration. There's no conflict in you right now. No resistance. Just gentle agreement between what you want and what you're doing. This alignment is so soothing, so settling. Let it deepen even more. Your jaw completely loose, your shoulders released, your hands open and soft, every part of you in peaceful agreement, choosing rest together. We've touched on this before, but let's experience it more fully now. That first migration of a young goose, that inaugural journey that teaches them the route they'll follow for life. Goslings learn through parental guidance, through following their mothers and fathers across vast distances. And what are they learning? They're noting landmarks, that distinctive mountain, that river valley, that coastline's curve. They're observing sun positions, how the sun moves across the sky, how its angle indicates direction. They're watching moon phases, those changing faces in the night sky. They're reading the stars, ancient points of light that have guided travelers for millions of years. And they're sensing magnetism, feeling Earth's magnetic field, that invisible force that pulls and guides. All these inputs, all these cues, woven together into a comprehensive map, a route imprinted into memory through experience, through following, through trust in their guides. Geese mate for life, and we've mentioned this before, but consider the depth of what this means. It's not just staying together. It's fierce protectiveness, constant companionship, shared labor and shared joy. When a goose loses its partner, when death or disaster takes its mate, the surviving bird mourns. visibly grieves. The same happens when eggs are lost. When a nest is destroyed, the grief is real, observable, genuine. These aren't simple creatures operating on mere instinct. There's emotion here, attachment, love, or something very much like it. The bonds they form matter. The losses they experience hurt. They're more like us than we might imagine. And in their daily lives, when danger is distant and survival is secure, geese relish simple pleasures. They love preening, running their bills through feathers, maintaining their waterproofing, caring for themselves. They enjoy grass foraging, the peaceful act of grazing, heads down in a sunny field, the satisfaction of eating, and they take pleasure in gathering nest materials, collecting twigs and bark and leaves, making what we called home improvements. This creativity, choice, the satisfaction of building, of making a space their own. Even birds appreciate comfort. Even geese value home. Your own home right now is exactly where you need to be, and you're creating comfort for yourself. You've chosen soft places to rest, adjusted pillows and blankets, created conditions for sleep. This is your nest, your safe space, and you're allowing yourself to appreciate it, to sink into it, to be held by it. Feel how supported you are, how every surface beneath you is working to keep you comfortable. You're cradled, you're safe, and you're exactly where you belong. Let that security wash through you. Let yourself feel profoundly at home in this moment, in this body, in this place. Everything is exactly as it should be, and you can let go completely. Those bar-headed geese we keep returning to, their adaptations go even deeper than muscle and blood vessels. They breathe more efficiently in low oxygen environments. It's not just that they have the equipment to use oxygen well. They actually process air differently. And here's what's fascinating. This trait is fine-tuned even in captive-bred individuals. Bar-headed geese raised in captivity, living their entire lives at normal altitudes, still possess this enhanced breathing efficiency. It's so deeply coded in their biology that it persists even without environmental pressure, even without need. Generation after generation, whether they fly the Himalayas or live in a park, their lungs and respiratory systems maintain this extraordinary ability. Potential waiting, ready if needed, excellence preserved. Canada geese have evolved another remarkable adaptation, one that allows them to thrive in environments that would dehydrate most creatures. They possess salt excretion glands, specialized organs that filter excess salt from their bloodstream. This means they can drink seawater, something that would be fatal for many animals, and survive. They can eat salty coastal plants, vegetation soaked in ocean spray or growing in brackish marshes, without suffering dehydration. The excess salt is removed, excreted through these specialized glands, keeping their bodies in balance even while consuming what seems like impossible nutrition. It's freedom, the freedom to exploit resources others can't access, to thrive in places others must avoid. Because of these adaptations, geese can adjust their diets dramatically when living in coastal areas. They graze on salt-tolerant grasses, plants specifically adapted to high salinity environments. They eat algae, those simple organisms growing in tidal zones. And in areas where humans are present, they've learned to supplement their diet with human-provided scraps, picnic leftovers, breadcrumbs, whatever's available. They're opportunistic, flexible, able to thrive on diverse food sources because their bodies can handle the variation, can process the salt, can extract nutrition from unexpected places. Notice how adaptable you are too, how you're adjusting to this process of falling asleep. Maybe it's happening differently than you expected. Maybe it's taking longer, or maybe you've been drifting in and out all along. However it's unfolding, you're adapting, adjusting, allowing rather than forcing. This flexibility is wisdom, the ability to work with what is rather than insisting on what should be. You're being so patient with yourself, so accepting, and that acceptance is itself deeply restful, deeply healing. Let it continue. Let yourself keep adapting, keep softening, keep opening to whatever wants to happen next. Some populations of geese have made an interesting choice, particularly in urban coastal zones where natural predators are scarce but human structures are abundant. They nest on human-made surfaces, docks extending over water, piers jutting into harbors, even rooftops of buildings near coastlines. These unusual nesting sites offer predator protection. Most ground predators can't reach a rooftop or navigate a narrow dock over water. It's adaptation to human presence, not just tolerance but utilization, turning our structures into their opportunities. It's intelligence, flexibility, the ability to see possibility where others might see only obstacles. Beneath their outer feathers, the ones you see when you look at a goose, there's another layer, a hidden world of insulation. Geese maintain thick down layers, soft, fluffy feathers packed densely against their skin. This down provides thermoregulation in both hot coastal summers and cold winters. In summer, it prevents overheating, helping maintain stable body temperature even when the sun is fierce. In winter, it traps warmth, creating a barrier against freezing air and icy water. The same layer serving opposite purposes, warming in cold, cooling in heat. It's sophisticated climate control, built-in, always active, responding to conditions automatically. The beak of a goose is more sophisticated than it appears, serving multiple functions with elegance. Those wide, flat bills can filter small aquatic plants, dabbling in water, letting liquid drain while retaining vegetation. And they can tear tough vegetation, gripping with those lamellae we've discussed, pulling and breaking fibers that would resist a smoother edge. But digestion requires more than just a good beak. In their guts, invisible but essential, live colonies of microbes, bacteria that break down cellulose, that complex plant material that's so hard to digest. The geese provide a home for these microbes. The microbes provide digestive services. This partnership again, cooperation at the microscopic level, two forms of life working together for mutual benefit. The eyes of a goose see a world we can barely imagine. We've mentioned their ability to see ultraviolet light, their superior visual acuity. But there's more. Geese eyes can detect polarized light waves oriented in specific directions. This ability enhances navigation precision during long migrations over varied terrains. Polarized light patterns in the sky can indicate direction, can help maintain course, can provide navigational information invisible to human eyes. There's another layer of input, another stream of data, helping them find their way across thousands of miles with remarkable accuracy. The world is always speaking to them in languages we cannot hear, showing them signs we cannot see. Your own senses are becoming quieter now. Less input, more internal focus. The world around you is fading, becoming distant and unimportant. Your eyes are closed or nearly so. Vision gone soft or dark. Sound is just my voice, this gentle rhythm, and maybe your own breathing. Touch is just the pressure of blankets, the support beneath you, everything simplifying, narrowing down to just the essential, just the immediate, just this moment of rest. And in this simplification, in this reducing of input, there's such peace, such relief. You don't have to process anything, don't have to respond to anything. Just be, just rest, just drift. Geese form lifelong family units that extend beyond the mated pair. Both parents participate actively in teaching goslings essential skills. It's not just the mother or just the father. Both contribute. They teach foraging, where to find food, what to eat, how to graze efficiently. They teach predator avoidance, what dangers look like, how to respond, when to flee and when to stand ground. And they teach migration skills, the routes, the landmarks, the timing. Everything a young goose needs to know to survive and thrive is passed down through patient instruction, through modeling, through allowing the young to follow and learn. It's culture, simple but real, knowledge transmitted across generations, not through genes but through teaching. Communication is constant in goose society. Those vocal honks serving multiple crucial purposes. They coordinate flock movements. Time to take off. Turn this direction. Land here. They signal food finds. Good grazing in this spot. Water here. And they maintain cohesion during foraging or flight. I'm here. Stay together. Don't wander off. The honking that might sound like simple noise to us is actually rich with meaning, with information, with social connection. They're talking to each other constantly, maintaining the bonds and coordination that keep the flock functioning as one. We return once more to those newly hatched goslings, emerging into the world with such sophisticated abilities. They learn which plants are edible partly through scent cues, smelling vegetation, making rapid assessments, and they communicate their rejection clearly, shaking their heads at non-food odors like violet, like lavender, like anything that signals not safe, not nutritious. It's partly instinct, partly rapid learning, partly guidance from parents, all working together in those crucial first hours and days, building a knowledge base that will serve them for life. Finally, let's zoom out, see the bigger picture, the larger patterns playing out across decades and centuries. Geese are expanding their ranges northward, moving into territories that were previously too cold, too harsh. Climate shifts are making these areas more hospitable, winters less severe, summers warmer. And as geese move north, they're aiding other species' dispersal into these warming habitats. They carry seeds in their feathers and digestive systems, spreading plants to new areas. They create disturbances that allow other species to establish. They're pioneers, ecosystem engineers, changing the landscape simply by living in it. What seems like simple range expansion is actually a complex ecological process. Ripples of change spreading outward from each flock, each individual, reshaping the world in small but meaningful ways. And you too are part of larger patterns, cycles of waking and sleeping, days and nights, seasons of activity and rest. You're not separate from the natural world. You're part of it, subject to the same needs, the same rhythms. Right now you're honoring the rhythm that says rest now, and in doing so, you're aligning with something ancient, something shared by every living thing. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom, this recognizing that you're part of nature, not above it, not exempt from it, and that recognition is humble and beautiful and deeply, deeply restful. Let yourself feel connected to everything that rests, everything that sleeps, every creature that has ever closed its eyes and let go. You're part of that eternal pattern, and it's holding you, carrying you, welcoming you home. Geese practice sentinel behavior, taking turns standing watch while others graze, cooperation ensuring safety. Bar-headed geese possess more aerobic muscle fibers, 6 to 10% more than low-altitude species. Their flight muscles feature denser capillaries and strategically positioned mitochondria, optimized for thin air. Geese exhibit strong flocking instincts, herding over 5 kilometers daily and returning home without guidance. Canada geese show ritualized aggression, snaking, shivering, tail fanning, head tossing, communication before combat. They rarely peck or cannibalize, maintaining peaceful group dynamics even with other species. First migrations teach goslings routes through parental guidance, sun, moon, stars, landmarks, and magnetic sensing all contributing. Geese mate for life with fierce protectiveness. Mourning deeply when partners or eggs are lost, they relish preening, foraging, and gathering nest materials. Finding pleasure in simple acts, bar-headed geese breathe more efficiently in low oxygen, a trait maintained even in captive-bred individuals. Canada geese have salt excretion glands, allowing them to drink seawater and eat salty coastal plants. They adapt diets to coastal areas, grazing salt-tolerant grasses, algae, and human-provided scraps. Some populations nest on human structures, docks, piers, rooftops. Using our world for their protection, geese maintain thick down layers, providing thermoregulation in both hot summers and cold winters. Their beaks filter aquatic plants and tear tough vegetation. Aided by gut microbes breaking down cellulose, geese eyes detect polarized light, enhancing navigation precision during migrations. They form lifelong family units, both parents teaching foraging, predator avoidance, and migration skills. Vocal honks coordinate flock movements, signal food finds, maintain cohesion. Goslings learn edible plants through scent cues, shaking heads at non-food odors post-hatch, and geese expand their ranges northward with climate shifts, aiding other species' dispersal into warming habitats. All these facts, all these marvels, all these intricate adaptations and behaviors, and now let them all fade away, becoming whispers, becoming echoes, becoming nothing but the soft darkness behind your closed eyes, the gentle rhythm of your breathing, the deep, deep pull of sleep. There's nothing left to remember, nothing left to hold on to, just this moment, just this breath, just this sweet, inevitable surrender. Sleep now, completely, finally, peacefully. You've traveled so far, learned so much, and now it's time to let it all go, to drift away, to dream. Rest well, dear listener, rest well.